Alright, hello everybody. So this is going to be a very scuffed and probably poorly explained breakdown of how CVL Season 2 is going to work, because it's going to be different from Season 1 by a lot. So the first thing I'm going to cover is the stuff that you guys are probably actually interested in, and that is how the drafting is going to work. If you are a returning player, if you played last season, we used a full point system. This season, we're doing something hybrid between points and alphabetical tiers. So, Champions has no fucking Pokemon. I'm just gonna say it how it is. There's no Pokemon in this fucking game. And additionally, excuse me, when drafting megas, I think it's very easy for whoever has first pick to just get the best mega, and then they're just like basically winning on the spot. So my solution to this is the first round of the draft is going to be an auction for megas, where the person who would typically have the very first pick is the one who proposes the first mega to go on auction. So what that means is, say that I am drafting and I'm first pick, my first pick is to propose that Mega Charizard Y is what is auctioned first. Every coach will have 30 points to spend on their mega. You can invest up to 27. And then those 3 remaining points will go towards your 3 free picks. And the way the free picks are going to work is an S tier will cost 15, an A tier will cost 10, a B tier will cost 7, a C tier will cost 5, a D tier will cost 3, and an F tier will cost 1. So that's why I'm saying you have 30 points for your mega and your free picks. You can spend up to 27 points on your mega, and then you would have to draft 3 F tier Pokemon as your free picks. I'm going to humbly request that not everybody spend 27 points on their mega. I can't control that, of course, but there's not enough F tiers in the game for everybody to get 4 F tiers. So I guess do with that information what you will. But yeah. I have not done all the tiering for the Pokemon yet. That is currently being worked on. I've got my team going through and assessing every Pokemon. So we're trying to keep things relatively balanced. But one of the other things that I want to cover is the S tiers. There's not a ton of S tier Pokemon, so some of the Pokemon that will likely be in S tier are not as good as other ones. Like, perhaps unsurprisingly, Sneasler is going to be in S tier. I don't think that's really much of a spoiler to give you guys. But another Pokemon that will likely end up in S tier is like Farigiraf, and I personally would not consider Farigiraf an S tier in draft. But we need at least 16, because these divisions are going to be 16 coaches, so we need at least 16 S tiers. So I had to sort of stretch the definition a little bit. So bear with me on that. Another thing I want to cover is bans. Mega Floette is banned 100%, and I'm going to be doing some polling about other megas that might get banned. Currently, I'm considering Mega Charizard Y and Mega Gengar. There's 58 megas in the game. I think that's excluding Floette already. So megas are like the only thing that we're really not going to be in a drought for. But again, I want to avoid people having matches where their opponent got a better mega than they did, and there's just nothing you can do about it. So that's something that I'm working on, and I'll be collecting player opinion on if there are any megas that people think are so beyond the other megas that they should not be allowed. In terms of base Pokemon, there will be no bans. So Mega Floette is banned, but base Eternal Floette is not banned. And that brings me to my next point, which is the megas and the base Pokemon will be separate. So you can draft I'll just use this as an example because I think it's decent. You could draft Mega Garchomp. The requirement in that case is every week your Garchomp must hold the Mega Stone. But you don't have to Mega Evolve it if you really don't want to. And that will be the case for every Mega. So if you drafted the Pokemon as your Mega slot, it is required to hold the Mega Stone, but it is not required to Mega Evolve in the game. And I think that keeps things fair for like weather megas, especially because one of the things that we discussed was having your mega required to mega evolve the first turn it's on the battle. I didn't like that idea. So what we're going to do is it has to hold the mega stone, but it is not required to mega in the game. It doesn't even have to come to the match if you really don't think it makes sense. And then on the other side, the base Pokemon, of course, cannot hold the Mega Stone, and it can't Mega Evolve. I think that is pretty self-explanatory. I mentioned it already. There's going to be 16 players per division. My plan for the number of divisions is we'll run as many as we can fill. So essentially, it could be one division if only 16 people sign up. It could be 10 divisions if 160 people sign up, which that would be hell, but I'll do it. And my plan is to split the divisions by play preference. And what I mean by that is I assume there's some people who would like to play on champions, and I assume there are some people who either don't have a Switch or don't have the resources and time and would like to play on Showdown. So when I publish the registration form, you'll select if you would prefer to play on Champions or on Showdown. For those of you who played last season, we collected replays. This season, I will not be collecting replays because of people who want to play on Champions. I'm not going to require you to have a capture card and all that kind of stuff. But I will still be collecting the team sheets after the match is over. So don't lose those. And also, it is your responsibility to keep track of the kills and deaths that happen for a given set. Which I feel like you should be doing that anyway because it's part of the draft league. Let me think if there's anything else I need to cover. That might be it. Of course, if you have questions, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions, please reach out. I'm happy to answer them. The form... Oh, I should mention this. The way that the overrun is going to work, because we most likely won't end up with a perfect divisible by 16 number, is I am doing a first come first serve basis where as soon as we hit that 16, the 16 people that were first are like locked in. Does not necessarily mean that's the exact 16 that you'll be playing with. That will likely be randomized. But if you are in a chunk of 16, you're guaranteed to be able to play. And then say that we get a 17th person and then no one else signs up, that one person will go on the reserve list for next season. And speaking of the reserve list, there are players that are guaranteed slots this season. As long as you sign up, you'll get your spot. You sort of bypass the line. Now I think that's all I was going to say. So yeah, any questions, ping me in the Discord. I'm happy to answer them. And yeah, I hope you guys will sign up. I hope you'll have fun. I think, to be fully transparent, I think this season will be worse than Season 1, just because Champions is a lot more restrictive of a game than Regulation F and Regulation H were in terms of draft. But I'm still going to try my best to make it fun, make it balanced, which has been the hardest part so far. And yeah. Okay. Thank you guys.